kailabreece.
Hey everybody, it's been a while. I've been doing some good reading and hiking this summer. Hope everyone is doing well. I'd like to note that this topic, utilitarianism, came to me as a video request, as I'm not as comfortable with this subject as I am with other fields of philosophy, but I was honored to be asked to make this video, so I did. So to my YouTube friend, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing. Now, utilitarianism is the idea that the moral worth of an action is determined solely by its utility in providing happiness or pleasure. The best way to characterize the concept is a quantitative and reductionist approach to ethics. It is thus a form of consequentialism, meaning that the moral worth of an action is determined by its outcome. It is often described by the phrase, the greatest good for the greatest number of people, and is also known as the greatest happiness principle. The origins of utilitarianism are often traced as far back as the Greek philosopher Epicurus, but as a specific school of thought, it is generally credited to Jeremy Bentham, and later John Stuart Mill. See, Bentham found that pain and pleasure were the only intrinsic values in the world. He stated that nature has placed mankind under the governance of two sovereign masters, pain and pleasure. From this, that's how he derived the concept and rule of utility. Basically, the good is whatever brings the greatest happiness to the greatest number of people, thus the most pleasure. Still, within that field of philosophy, there are two distinctive fields of thought. There's act utilitarianism and rule utilitarianism. The act version states that when faced with a choice, we must first consider the likely consequences of potential actions, and from that choose to do what we believe will generate the most pleasure. Rule utilitarianism, on the other hand, begins by looking at potential rules. To determine whether a rule should be followed, we must look at what would happen if we were to follow it always. And if adherence to that rule produces more happiness than otherwise, it is a rule that morally must be followed at all times. Now, this distinction between the two is basically based on the difference about the proper object of consequentialist calculations. Should it be a case-by-case, or should it be generalized rules? My question to my fellow intellectuals is this: what do you think about utilitarianism? And which field of thought makes more sense, act or rule? And can this construct be used to solve real-world ethical problems like, say, Hiroshima? Well, in respects to the act or rule position on utilitarianism, I would side with the act approach. The rule version advocates a general set of laws that will, in some specific circumstances, clearly decrease happiness if followed. Never to kill another human being may seem to be a great general rule, but it could make self-defense very difficult. However, overall, I am more a subscriber to ethical altruism, even though I feel realistically the world operates off of ethical egoism, which is when people do what is in their own self-interest. The reason I aspire to be a true altruist is because, I'm quoting the philosopher Peter Singer, if your only goal in life is personal happiness, you will never be happy. You need something to be happy about. And Singer said it best, that you're more likely to be happy when your desire is to improve the lives of others. That is, to act selflessly. And to that I concur. This is kailabreece. What do you know?